Okay, so this brings us to song number 10 out of 12, Hell You Call a Dream. It dropped kind of early. It was one of the first ones after Sick. And this song works. There's a couple of things about it I don't like so much in the production of it and how it's carried out. I think there's maybe a little bit too many keyboards, and I would have liked to have seen some guitar riffing in place of some of the keys, especially on the chorus. I know I'm presumptuous saying that, but I'm just saying. This is one song where it felt like maybe there was a little bit of an over-reliance on keyboards, and I would love to see some of those sounds recontained back into the three-piece that they are. That's just me. That's just my personal preference as a fan. And whatever they do, I support them. But this is the one thought I keep coming back to whenever I hear this song, is I wish there were fewer keyboards and some of those riffs on keys actually were being played on a guitar. The actual premise of the song is great. I love the lyric sheet. Just the whole thing about, oh my gosh, this is such a hard life, being a professional musician, which it is. It's a very hard life. I don't think people understand. And they're doing it. They got the energy for it right now. They're absolutely killing it. And good on them. But yeah, it's a lot of work. You get sick a lot. There may be days you really don't want to go out there and you have to, but it is what they wanted, and kudos to them for succeeding. They're just laying groundwork for the rest of their lives as far as I'm concerned. Let's hear their thoughts on this song.
Okay.
Hell You Call a Dream.
Used to be Belly of the Beast.
Oh my god.
Oh!
In the belly of the beast.
Not Belly of the Beast. That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Glad we changed it.
So
anyway.
Hell You Call a Dream. It was the last song we wrote in our LA writing trip.
Woo.
Which by the end of that writing trip, we were
fried.
exhausted.
We had no more ideas.
My dad would tell us, you have no idea how much it hurts me to pick you up after every day and seeing the life drained out of you. You look so tired. And we were. And we wrote it with Dan Lancaster and Curtis Peoples. Okay, so we met Dan when we were touring with Muse. Mm-hmm. Dan plays keyboards for Muse right now on tour.
Yeah.
And he was like, we should write together. And we were like, people say that just to strike up conversation. Yeah. But he was actually booking it with us.
He was serious. We were like, oh,
okay. So
for sure.
We went with him to the studio and we wrote that song. And we were talking about that push and pull of how grateful and thankful we were for everything that we were doing, all the opportunities that we were getting, how much we were growing, and how much work that we had. That's
great.
It was such an amazing thing. But also how incredibly exhausting it was and how tired we were, and the lack of space that we had within our jobs to speak about it, to actually process that tiredness. Because touring is amazing. That time you're on stage, connecting with people and sharing your music, amazing. Yes. I live for it. It's fantastic. But when you're off of that stage and you're sharing a bus with 15 people,
there's no
sharing showers with 15 people, you only eat sandwiches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 months. You're tired. It's not glamorous.
Well, your body's telling you, please stop.
And you're so exhausted. Your body does not work. You're not sleeping well. You're not eating well. And when you talk about it, people are like, you're so ungrateful. I would die for that. And it's we're dying for it.
Yes.
We're putting in that work.
We love it.
But it just opened up the space for us to, talk about, sometimes the things that you love and you work so hard for can also, affect you emotionally and, could... make
which
you tired.
Is part of life. I feel like you can find that pocket
within a lot of different areas.
So we wanted to write
about
that.
Venting about that, and it's a very epic song. Dan, I don't know how he does it. He's so meticulous with his writing, but he was like, I want to make something that you can sing in a stadium, you can chant. And now when we play it live, that is the song you can see people crying to. Yes. That is the
it's a very dramatic
emotional
song.
culmination of the whole show.
And we love it because especially when you feel like that, and
having that space to
just listen to the song and feel it out,
Yeah.
I love that.
I've heard before that when pertaining to the stress of touring, somebody's in a situation where the subject suffers but gets enough benefit from the situation that they're willing to stay in. The only other word I could come up with for this song was crunch.
Yeah, it crunches pretty well.
Just like guitar,
Yeah, I agree. The audiences respond well to this song. So, and I think it is a successful song in general.
Well, yeah, it's just got a very classic tune to it.
And it is easy to remember the chorus, that's for sure. Wait, in the belly of the beast. Hell You Call a Dream is better. Although you got to wonder what that lyric sheet looked like when it was Belly of the Beast. I am curious. Okay, well, why don't we move on to the next song, which is Consume, which, as Pau, I think, is going to tell us, was the place where the name of the album came in. This is a song that I don't think was necessarily marketed to the older fans, or I shouldn't say marketed to, but it's more of a song, I think, for the younger fans in their mix. The way that the song is made and how it's produced just seemed to be more modern in nature. And this is a good song. I do like it, but it's kind of different from other songs on the album. They talk a lot faster, for starters.
It seems like the song is about someone being consumed by somebody else who's never satisfied, and that is a recurring theme on this album.
You are correct, sir. Yes, it is. I think a lot of it strikes at social media and how this generation is really just consuming all the time. Like there's no off button. You're always consuming. And, in their case, certainly putting it all back out there. Yeah. So let's go ahead and hear what they had to say.
Keep Me Fed, the title, comes from the song Consume.
Mm-hmm. Find the lyrics.
Oh my god, actually, we curse on the song, which was like, wait, I just want to say something. My mom was so disappointed.
So disappointed.
You have no idea.
My father was disappointed as well, but like,
then he embraced it.
Yeah,
he was like, no,
he
it's
accepted it.
Okay.
He was like, you know what? If you like take out the word, it's not as
impactful.
We're like, yes.
Exactly.
But my mom, every day, she's trying to change the lyric. Like, why don't you say greedy little sucker? Or like trucker. You can find something else. And I'm like, Mom, you will have to live with this. I am so sorry. Yeah. But okay, Consume is about participating in a cycle of overconsumption and complaining about the system and like this cycle that you live in, but you also feed it. Like you're also there doing the same things that you're complaining about. But we wrote the song in Canada. We were on tour with 3 Days Grace. Ale, you were sick. You had a fever. You had the stomach flu.
I felt like I was dying.
I remember you knocked on my hotel door. I was like, Danny, you want to ride with me?
Yeah.
And
I
there
could
was
hear
a
them.
hockey team.
I could hear them scream
running
from
through the halls and making so much noise. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm also gonna be making noise. I will be writing the song. So Danny and I sat with my little MIDI keyboard, which I was dragging around Canada for a whole month, and I was like, I need to use it. Like I'm gonna force myself to use it, and I used it that day. And we started writing Consume.
It has also like the weirdest solo I've ever played, but I love it.
Consume is a song that makes me dance, but makes me question, like, myself. Like, what am I doing? Like, oh my god.
It's like existential dancing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is so real, but I'm dancing. When we play it live, I have a feeling, it's such a jumpable song. I hope that people will jump to it.
I think that is what happens, just from what I've seen people do. It's a good song. I mean, it's got a lot of energy. Their poor parents, though. Greedy little sucker. How about greedy little Tucker? No, I get it. I understand. I think that's one of those generational things I was just talking about, It's got the proper amount of grit with what they went with, so there you go.
Yeah. It seems to be about consumption of and by people, a type of greed that, one is ashamed of, but still perpetuates and participates in. And, that's the, you hate that you're part of it.
Yeah. I think you're onto something there. I think that the album is well named, Keep Me Fed. It really is the theme that keeps coming back, It's like people just want more and more and more, and they get greedy, and they get very into it, and they get narrow tunnel vision, and they and they don't see the stuff outside, and of course they are a target of intense speculation and fascination, because of the way they came up and very publicly. They have all these fans. It's a fantastic thing, for the act. But yeah, it's something you have to learn to deal with, and certainly they're handling things very, very well on the outside, and it sounds like they're working through any issues in the songwriting.
That line, and another line from that song, "Make me perfect for you." It's like kind of the recurring theme of somebody being consumed by someone who is never satisfied.
Yeah. And if you spend a lot of time on the internet, especially in the comments sections, you'll find a lot of people that fit that description. Like, oh, you're not satisfied at all. Oh, boy. So, I do like the song. It's unusual. It's another one of those that's kind of outside the circle, but still part of the whole. It's kind of flung out there a bit, but I do like the track very much. All right, now this is arguably my favorite track on the whole album, Automatic Sun, closing track. Fantastic riff. Danny has a baritone guitar. Ali's making very good use of that fifth string, and it's just all very, very low, crunchy, heavy, excellent riffs.
Yeah, that beginning riff is a classic.
I don't think there's a weak moment anywhere in this song. Chef's kiss, well done. So let's see what they have to say about it.
Automatic Sun. Okay, Automatic Sun. It's the last song we wrote for the album.
And it's the last song
On the episode, rightfully so. We had no idea what we wanted to talk about, but we had the riff.
Yes.
And we had the melodies for the whole song. We just didn't have lyrics.
What do we wrote the lyrics, like, different sets of lyrics, like 5 times.
Yes, we did the verses like 5 times.
And we moved them around.
And I don't know why, but we were looking for a tagline.
We were looking for like a
to just
one-liner
repeat it.
chorus.
Automatic Sun is about missing somebody and the warmth that they give you, and like this gravitational pull that they have. They're just an automatic sun.
Literally.
We had the phrase automatic sun before we had the meaning of the song, so everything was just built around what each of us were perceiving automatic sun as.
Once we found that, it was very like easy to go down.
Yeah, it just flowed.
Yeah.
The drums for this song are my favorite of the whole album. They're so good.
This is one of my favorite songs. This is such a fun song to play live. It's
great.
So
When
fun.
we do the pauses correctly, when I do when the fills flow like butter, Jesus Christ.
We just look at each other and we're like, ooh.
Like you feel it.
And I vividly remember being in the studio and just listening back to it once we kind of like finished the demo, it hitting that outro, and we all just look at each other kind of like,
holy hell.
Yeah, man.
Like we did it. We
Yeah,
did it.
man.
This is the perfect closing to the album.
And it's, I think, one of my favorite bridges as well.
It is definitely like a very interactive song as well. So playing it live, hopefully it just keeps being better and better and better, because it is my absolute favorite to play.
Thank you so much for listening to our track by track of Keep Me Fed. The album is out now. Go listen to it. Go make it your own and rock out.
Woo!
All right, good advice. Go get the album, make it your own.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, that last track, again, a fantastic song. I'm a little surprised that isn't something on the charts right now, because it feels like it's another song that should be on the chart. Cool lyrical content on that one, kind of philosophical, as well as fitting in with the album theme. A lot of it has to do with attraction, to various things. And so this certainly fits that theme. But a great capper for the album, I thought.
Yeah, a great way to end the album. Every riff in that song is a classic, actually.
Yeah, it's a real strong one. So overall, very strong album. I know people at first weren't sure what they were going to think of it, just given what they had done in the past and where it led them. I'm not sure if I can give it a grade per se, maybe A-, 4.5 stars. Say it did really, really well. I see places where I think just the very element of time and not having enough, not being allotted enough, may have been an issue. I think this could have been an even better album if they'd had a little more time. Just given the little things that I pointed out, I mean, that alone would have helped, but I'll bet there would have been even more little things that I didn't even notice, because for the most part, the album was carried out really well. I can understand why the label might be happy. Okay, you got it done, and you got it done in this, and it looks like it's under budget. Great, sounds good to me. Okay, we can deal with this. Let's go ahead and throw it out there. And, since you're working with such a talented group of sisters here, you ended up with a great album. I do think it could have been even better, just given a little bit more time. And I hope that with future albums, they're allotted a little bit more time to properly write and record some songs, whether they're collaborating with people, whether on Zoom or in person, or not. I think that it makes a huge difference. I think that one of the biggest problems in the music industry today is that the songs themselves don't matter as much as they used to. You know, people aren't buying the records. Songwriting isn't earning what it used to. It makes a lot more sense to just tour all the time to make your money. Writing music and putting out albums is not considered a good way to spend your time anymore. I mean, you kind of have to eventually, but record companies, 2 years between albums, there's no need for that. There's plenty of classic groups that we love and who did great songwriting who put out an album every single year or more. Early 60s, I kind of think they were pushing them through too fast. Again, it was like the same problem. But I think one album a year is a pretty good rate, and there are plenty of bands out there that did that and have amazing catalogs. I would love to see that, but failing that, I would at least like to see enough time allotted to the artists without being hassled. Like, you're not on the road making money. I get it. It's a very hectic business. There's a lot to do to keep yourself out there and in people's minds and eyes, and this band does an excellent job of that. But the music is where it's at, man. The music is what matters when all the lights die down. The music is the thing. So that's my plea to the record label, because I'm assuming it's really the record label that put the crunch on. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Folks have thoughts about that, please leave those below. I'd be interested in hearing about them. Maybe you know something that I don't. Very likely, actually. There's probably info I would love to have on this situation. But anyway, overall, fantastic album. Definitely worth your time. They are up-and-coming artists for sure. I also recommend Error very strongly. And then as you go back further, the other albums are strong, but they turn into kind of a different listen, But Queen of the Murder Scene, great stuff on there. And, of course, listen to them live anytime, and the songs come to life. But, yeah, if you were wondering, if you were on the fence, I'd say go out and buy this album and enjoy it. It's got a lot to enjoy. And we are hoping to see a live album sometime, maybe even the next release.
I remember I said something in a past episode about them keeping complete creative control over what they do, and they've pretty much done it, and hopefully it won't get taken over by people who say, hey, the record's got to be 47 minutes long or whatever. People having their hands in it who really shouldn't.
Yeah, well, that does happen. That is part of the biz, unfortunately. I mean, Lava did that to them with Error. They ended up having to put an extra song on after they thought the album was finished. That's the song Breathe, and it's just Pow on piano at home. And that's why. I mean, they're already done with the sessions. They're like, we need another song. Okay. So here you go. It's like, sometimes that works out really well. So that's not so bad. But yeah, in general, if you're going to make an album, don't give it short time. Don't treat it like a necessary evil, Give it the time it requires to put together some great music that they will love to sing for the rest of their lives. Not that this isn't, but I'm just saying. So with that, folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of this album? What's your favorite song? Is there anything that stuck out about any of these? Did we bring anything up that maybe you hadn't thought about? Or did they, in their own discussions of each song? Would be interested to hear about that. Leave your thoughts below. Okay, and in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right. Thanks so much for joining us on this, and we will catch you on the next one. All right. Take care, folks.
See you all later.